Regalia tutors up some lands. Mana Wargs is like 6 drafts in. This cube is sick. Oh, yeah? Very cool. I feel like with the pack 1, pick 1 exploration, I should probably be looking to do some kind of lands thing, which means either Slogurk or Regalia here. This thing's got haste. I'll try it. Some self-mill, some landy stuff. I'm gonna be real, I don't know what all these cards do, and that is a little exciting. Hey, good afternoon, I am 333. You scape shifted some fools earlier, huh? Oh, this card's sick. Green Reaper Sprint. I see this going, like, always lapping the table in the mono red cube, but if you get it to pop off, it's just like a 2 mana, like, extra turn, ++2/+2. It's insane. Wonder if Prowler's where it's at. Reclamation could rebuy if you're doing self-mill stuff. Was it preordain here? What's this Vito do? I'm just gonna grab Chocobo. Grab that there lands thing. Oh man, Hedron Crab, huh? Titania's Command switches for non-basics. It's interesting. All the build-arounds you spot are supported. Yeah, no, it's a well-designed cube. I've drafted it before, but it was like a long time ago, and there's a lot more new cards in here. I'm gonna grab this Hedron Crab. See if I can pop that off. Crab and Chocobo is like already kind of a combo, right? If a land causes a triggered ability to trigger, it triggers an additional time. So if you have a Hedron Crab and a Chocobo and you play a fetch, then that's milling them for 12. That seems good. Stillness and Motion. Many of your upkeep, mill 3 cards. If it has no cards in it, exile this enchantment, put 5 cards from your library. From your graveyard on top of your library anyway. Okay, so you Doomsday if it's in play and you get Hellbent. Or not Hellbent, but unlibraried. We're going to have Breeding Pool here. He's up, Untouched Marlin. What's up, everybody? Hope folks are having a pleasant Thursday. I kind of tired my voice out yesterday with that longer stream. It was really fun, though. I was glad I did that. Gremlin Tamer, huh? Oh, enchantment base, sure. Think about Commit Memory. Think about Cookbook. Or Cankerbloom. I could take Adept with the idea of self-milling with the Hedron Crab. Like, do some, like, bug self-milling thing. Boot up. Boom, 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 boot up. It's so much easier to deck the opponent, though. I'm gonna grab Commit to Memory. That's a sweet one. Love a research desk. Let me cast a non-creature spell, get a bird. What if you attack with one or more birds? Scry 2? Sure. I think I'm just gonna grab this farmer. Sometimes it's useful to just have a big old fucking wall. You're having a Thursday? Fair enough. What's the gimmick of the cube? I don't think it's like particularly gimmicky. There's just like some well-supported archetypes in a lower power level than powered cube. Attacks get a food token. Whenever you gain life, you may pay green or white if you do. Sure. Pumps your critters. Hey, good to see you too, Fricus. I think this card's decent. Oh, there's Valakut here. Should be thinking about Valakut. Split second, enchant creature, planeswalker, or clue. Turns it into a clue. Hard to have good removal in blue, huh? Oh, Slogurk made it back around. That's a good sign. Whenever a land card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, get a 1/1 counter on it. Remove 3 1/1 counters from Slogurk, return it to owner's hand. When it leaves the battlefield, return up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard to your hand. Some weird clone here. I mean, this is a way that I could get extra crabs, Sacrifice any number of creatures to your library and or graveyard for a creature card with mana value less than or equal to. Oh, but it spends like 4 turns making tokens. Gurk was so gross in Standard, you wish it was playable anywhere else. That's kind of the purpose of Cube, right? You get to give those old cards a chance to shine. That's one of the overlaps that the Cube has with EDH, right? The amount of personalization you can put into it. Choose Timir Sultai. Timir, when you cast an instant sorcery, target player mills for. Or Sultai, you can play lands from your graveyard. Both of those are pretty sick here. Wicked Wolf's just a good ass card. A lot of food floating around too. I guess I'm just grabbing this. Ooh, a little Troll King action, Spits out food. Self-mill. Flips. Kind of remember this card. Fetch land. Yeah, the counterspell and the analyst are both very tempting here, but I think I want fetches. My Hedron Crab that I'm playing around here. Yeah, we want fetches and we want bounce lands. I thought I saw bounce land in pack 1. A little hedge maze action. Witness protection would be good. The thing about Witness protection is that blue-green just doesn't have a ton of removal. That's why I was kind of excited to grab the in too deep wield. Analyst might get back to us, right? Yeah, we saw that Valakut going pretty late. That'd be pretty sweet. Odawara makes sense here. Ooh, Gruul Turf. Yeah, pretty much any bounce land at all. Some other interesting cards for us. I think I'd be into this Summon Titan. That makes sense more than the 6 drops that I currently have. Agate Instigator. Oh, sure. So Soul Crab says when an enchantment you control enters, whenever you fully unlock a room, target player mills 2 cards. Currently we've got like 2 enchantments, 3 enchantments. That's interesting. Living that crab life over here. Rancor something, then have it die, get the Rancor back. Rancor something, have it die, get the Rancor back. Just keep triggering the crab. Some enchantments itself bounce. It's kind of like this Gruul Turf. Bouncing over and over. Getting more triggers for the Aegon Crab. Ooh. Speaking of bouncing over and over, I should probably read this thing. 4 mana, Moonful Artificer. 3/3 flyer. End of turn, target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature. Gains flying. Because the 1/1. Beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 3 target non-creature artifacts. Okay. Interesting, I guess. Yep. Playing and bouncing, bouncing and playing. I have a little bit of a question as to how I'm gonna get my key cards often. Order of Greaves here is interesting. Oh, Order of Nylea, I guess, works with the crab hum. Plus an enchantment. And then it gets lands for the Aegon Crab, works with both crabs. Fair enough, fair enough. And the Analyst did wheel, nice. Suppose. I'm in my first draft here. I'm random. Or Artos, rather. Sorry. Got your comments confused. Huh. Note a creature type that hasn't been noted. Gets 1/1 counters. Okay. I wonder if this Chocobo is where it's at. That exploration would be dope if I was Rug Colors. I don't think I want to add red for it. Oh, I think I want this thing. Ah, the Omen Keel. The sweet one, too. I would not describe this as Pioneer Cube, no. Get a monk that taps for mana. Transforms. Alright, becomes that sweet dragon. This card's probably pretty good here. I'm probably supposed to be grabbing Dryad. Dryad, of course, makes me wish I'd grabbed the Valakut earlier, but what are you going to do, eh? Weird draw spell. I actually own the original art to Winds of Wrath. Isn't that a trip? The one over my toilet. The only art in my bathrooms are prints. They're acrylic prints. Because they're not going to get damaged from moisture issues. Having that sheet of acrylic in front of the print itself. I would not hang original art worth thousands of dollars in the same place that I take showers. Is this guy a blast at parties or what? Can I tell you more about Matt Grenier and this cube? Matt is a cube designer. And he designed this cube. A little Moloku action. Does never run out of land drops, This deck's going to be so much better when it has an exploration than when it does not. Is it a synergy cube? It is, yeah. It looks like enchantments and lands are supported archetypes. It's kind of a nonsense title. Synergy and harmony and like synonyms. Ooh, Ice-Tail Explorer. That's another extra lane per turn card. Hell yeah. Those kind of terms are awkward because like everyone that designs a cube kind of sees their cube as that. Right? Like everyone that designs a cube like puts synergies and stuff in there. With some exceptions. But I think Grenier was looking for like a balanced play experience. Landfall life gain. Yeah, I've seen health like 3 times. Actually, I think I have a magic card that they put out as like a promo thing. Little collector deal they were giving away. They're fine. Like kind of gothy, electronic rock stuff. Will my dispatch run be on YouTube? I think it is already. If you know how to find my old VODs, because it got live streamed to YouTube. And it was unmuted. So I haven't, like, titled it and given it a thumbnail and stuff. But that shouldn't really matter much. It's also here in the Twitch VODs, too. Also unmuted. Yeah, I have one of their shirts. I think it says, like, sad music for lonely people or something on it. Maybe not that quite that depressing. What's up, Cheeseburger? It's all there already. Yeah, nice. Yeah, the that game was a lot of fun to stream. Dispatch. Really glad I jammed that. I've never seen Machine Head. I was never huge on them, so. Oh shit, what up? Hey Squee, thanks for the sub. You enjoyed the Dispatch stream? Hell yeah. How am I doing? Doing great, Cheeseburger. I think with 2 bounce lands, I might be fine just jamming 16 lands. I guess I just play this as a Crucible. Kind of play the Troll King just to have a Troll King. Could almost support Golos. Might just throw a couple random basics in here. I'll play the Commercial District. And then play a single Swamp and a single Plains. Perfect. Oh shit, what up? Hey Pi 118, thanks for the sub, thanks for 48 months. Yeah, I drafted this cube before, but it was a minute ago. It's been a while. I guess. We got the deck in the overlay anyway. This marks over 4 years since I beat your ass in your first ever Vintage Cube League. Huh, how about that? Wonder if I'm supposed to be mulliganing for exploration. I think this deck's quite a bit better when it has it. I turn 1 smokestack locked you out of the game when we last played in Vintage Cube. That sounds like a good ass game right there. That's an ideal game right there. One of the nuttiest opening hands I've ever had was like turn 1 smokestack, turn 2 worm coil or something like that, with a recall and force will backup. Something along those lines. And I posted it to Twitter. I was just like, holy shit. I remember this person arguing with me. He's like, that hand's not that good. Well, you have a recall. I'm like, the recall's the worst card in this hand, friend. It's probably getting pitched to the force of will. Like, until you've gotten fucking smokestack locked. And it's very, very difficult to realize exactly how good it can be. Okay. Kind of need some card draw or something, huh? Something to help me get rolling here. You could smack in for 2. I'm chill, just leaving 2 creatures for the Menacer. All right, Carrie Clover, what do you got for me? Here we are on turn 3. Yeah. Got me. He's up, Salty Rutabaga. What's up, everybody? Chair locking? What does that mean, Adman? Oh, when you get so high you can't leave your couch? Sure, sure. So I have so far used a minute of my clock. I think there's a good chance Carrie Clover hasn't played a lot of Magic Online. Or maybe it's just reading the new cards and stuff. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at, Scuff Proof. Three game actions has not been a lot of game actions. They are not double queuing. Because when they actually take actions, it's like not someone. They're very obviously not double queuing. I don't think it's a slow internet either. You see this long pause after they tap their mana and then they play their card. If they were multi-queuing, their turn would be done. Their creature would be tapped and attacking. They would have like F6'd over to the other game. Like there would be long spaces between when they do things, but they wouldn't be, taking forever on their turns too. Yeah, nothing really wrong with that. The taxi. I mean, that's how you need to play more to like play faster, right? All that biz. Nothing to feel bad about. Could just make a 1/1, and offer to block the 3/3. I'll just do the ramping growth here. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. And Tropic Ender. People messaging you about nonsense. You learned you can't play some archetypes because you're too slow on Moto. Yeah, I mean, I even stick away from a few archetypes. Like, I don't play Blinktron and Popper. Some of those players play so fast. It's pretty impressive. Hey, J Boom Tube, thanks for the sub. Boom says, hey, Dad, I love you and our community of wonderful weirdos. Me too, J Boom Tube. I also love this little community of wonderful weirdos. The Menacers clock in. Yeah, we're gonna need to draw a little something, huh? Nice 2 menace threats plus a couple of removal spells here. Removing a counter could get me more rampant growths, but it does keep me from getting 1/1s, which is kind of cute. I guess. Kind of needed to draw that clue this turn, the clue maker. I'm worried about my opponent playing out another threat this turn. Is this a May? I don't think it is. Oh, but they didn't choose to. No, it just happens now. Yeah. So split second doesn't allow you to ignore timing restrictions, right? Still gotta play it on your turn. But I have the wrong crab in play. Oh yeah. I mean, the other crab probably would have eaten removal spells or whatever. Oh, nice. Emery kind of punishing my my mill plan here. Oh, I'm just dead, huh? Or no, they're a mana. No, they're good. They're good. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9. They got me. Flying in menace. Sure thing. Sure thing, boss. Definitely want Cankerbloom in. I'm just gonna bring in some more like general gas. Maybe the Golos plan is iffy. It's just a lot of gas in one card. Oh yeah, I kind of did want this in. Well, I could see if I'm right about this exploration card. As with the last hand, we are missing some gas, though. I thought this deck was, like, stuffed with gas. I might chill on Analyst until I can sacrifice it on the same turn. Do I go under 17 lands when I have a lot of Karoo lands? I do, yeah. Usually it's like -1 land for every 2. What's a Karoo land? Just a bounce land, like this Gruul Turf that I've got in play. When it enters, return a land you control to its owner's hand, then it taps for 2. They're essentially virtual card advantage because it's very similar to having 2 lands stapled together. Like if you had a land that came into play tapped, and when it came into play tapped, you would search your library for a basic and put it in your hand. It'd be very easy to understand how that would be card advantage. It does essentially the same thing as this thing. I actually don't know if I want to sack this, Maybe I'd rather leave lands in the graveyard. Oh, but then I should have led on the Slogurk, huh? So we'd get the 1/1 counters from the Analyst. Fuck. Oh well. Oh, they're about to destroy all non-artifact creatures, huh? Fair enough. Well, the battlefield tapped. So would I rather sacrifice this analyst and get 3 lands into play, or get in with the regalia? Probably get in with the regalia. I'm gonna get some lands back when the Slogurk dies anyway. The track is by Spectral Sound. Dasso main ID EP. Yeah, I guess I would search for Dasso DASO. There's just like a lot of. It's not formatted super cleanly as to figure out who the actual artist is. Island off the top, nice and clean. That kind of needs some creature lands, huh? Some ways of finding gas into the mana base. I'm actually supposed to sandbag some of these lands, I think. In case we draw a crab and want to start milling. Opponent has the Scriptures combo. What's the combo with Scriptures? How would I read this cube? It's my first draft. I mean, I guess I drafted it a while back, but it's been a bit. I wonder if I'm going to have to bounce that Emery. Interesting. I guess I hold Troll King. Oh, to discard 2 cards. Awkward. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, the arena cube's still going. Yeah, the Bitter Blossom working their own life totals started to look awkward, huh? And they're pretty far away from being decked. That's why I've been those extra lands to keep the Troll King here. Even though you could get a lot of milling in a short period, I think the Bitter Blossom just points us in the direction of trying to win with damage. Feasting Troll King is indeed an impressive card. Saw some modern play for a little bit when people were monkeying around with food decks. Opponent might not have time for a game 3. Like we're in game 2 and they've got less than 8 minutes on the clock. Normally 8 minutes would be plenty of time. But I'm a little skeptical here. The Withering tormented their own Bitter Blossom. Incredible. That's a hell of a play. It was the last turn they could do that. Oh, this thing doesn't have trample. Guess I should have played the damn land first. A little bit worried about the Titans' self-mill of 5 cards there. Because the Regalia mills to attack too. Maybe I'm just supposed to run this troll out. That's a big-ass fucking trampler, huh? I guess they're both big-ass tramplers. Well, the Bass Song shuffles any number of target cards from your graveyard into your library. Yeah, maybe I should have just slammed the Titan. What was I so worried about, huh? They have enough removal spell that I almost want to play this shore up. You heard I like Cube? Oh, I do like Cube. We could have drawn so many more cards. Yeah, right? What was I thinking? Phantom Memory seems sweet too. Little draw 7 in here. Let's cut the Siege. I don't think that one's very gassy with what I'm doing. Probably should have gotten pulled with the enchantment package. Are there any other polyhedrons I like, or just cubes? Just cubes. Other shapes are affronts to the old ones. Yeah, we're at like 6 minutes here, and their clock's just ticking down. I don't know if they realize that they've got to click start. They got to click that they want to play first. I hope they're not just tanking on whether they want to play first or not. You have to explain what you mean by hypercube, Chukasaka. It's not like a... It is blasted in the YouTube playlist, Barbarian. A hypercube is a cube projected into the 4th dimension, i.e. time. Yeah, I guess that's an interesting way to do it. Have every card function according to the magic rules at the time of its printing. You'd have to have something break ties, though, huh? You could also draft your decks, like have an ongoing draft. Step 1, you build your mana base. Then you draft a pack. Then everybody plays game 1. After game 1, you draft your second pack. The most unsatisfying match win of all time. That might be what we're facing here. I feel like I have time to take a bathroom break. I'm gonna go do that. I'll be back in a few minutes, folks. Oh, did we get an opponent immediately as soon as I left to go to the bathroom? Have I been enjoying Matt's Cube? So I drafted it once several years back, and I have kind of a fuzzy memory of it. And this is my first draft of this this run of it. Has anyone seen any good films lately? There's something I kind of want to watch in the theaters. I haven't been to the movies in a while. I've been sick. I don't have the energy to go to the theaters. I wish I did though. Love going to the movies. Predator Badlands is one that I wish I could get out and see. I like the first Black Phone. I'm fine seeing the second one when it gets released on video though. You just saw Predator Badlands. You liked it. You watched Materialists last night, but was unimpressed. Frankenstein was good. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Frankenstein. Love that Guillermo del Toro guy. One battle after another was 10 out of 10. That's what I've heard. Still haven't seen that one. I'll get there, though. You saw the Chainsaw Man movie and Demon Slayer movie. Didn't have any stake in either movie, but Chainsaw Man impressed you? Hell yeah. Chainsaw Man, I get the impression that I would really dig that anime because the soundtrack for it is really good. And I like the animation style. Seems like my kind of thing. Maybe I'll just dive in with the movie too then. Do I like weird movies? Oh, hell yeah. You have your eye on Begonia. Two conspiracy-obsessed men kidnap a CEO of a major company who then becomes convinced that she's an alien who wants to destroy Earth. Featuring Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons. Director is Yorgos Lanthimos. I don't think I've seen any of this guy's movies. You thought Begonia was great? Been a while since we've streamed a weird movie. Yeah, I haven't done a watch party in a long time. I pretty much have only done watch parties when Amazon was like sanctioning them. I would really like them. Killing the Sacred Deer is great. Yeah. Hey, we got another opponent. So we got that exploration card, but we don't have another land. I think the build that I boarded into is likely going to end up being better without the enchantment stuff. Sure. You love you some Willem Dafoe? Big same. Excited for that werewolf movie. I think Eggers released the cast, or some of them. And like usual, it's gonna have Willem Dafoe in there. That guy's got to be Willem Dafoe's biggest fan, huh? You're excited about Zootropolis 2? Zootropolis. Not Zootopia. Does it have different names or something? Oh, it's the name for in countries outside the United States use Zootropolis. And in the US we use Zootopia. Interesting. I wonder why that is. I guess. We're just like not doing anything for forever. Hopefully that's okay. Used to fuck with Moloku so hard. I used to have a friend who had the there's a misprint of Moloku that makes tutus, and he had that copy in his vintage cube, his powered cube, and we would like play it as is. Kind of fun. I think it's like the Portuguese version or something. This game goes a lot better if I hit that 5th land for Moloku on time. And it resolves, and I get to do things. So when's Zootopia 2 coming out? I did like the first one. Not as much as Bill, of course. But I did enjoy it. Oh, there's literally showtimes posted. November 25th. Very cool. Hey, thanks, Subrabin. That was pretty sick, hitting a Civic Growth Chamber off this fucking equipment thing. Or vehicle, rather. I feel like the priority changed. Nah, my crab. Chocobill plus Ice Chill. Just deck myself very quickly. Hmm. We're just gonna pass here. I think a 4-mana creature shouldn't win the game the turn it's played 80% of the time. 80% is a big number, but I can dig not like it. I still I can understand it. Maybe doing a little bit too much. It's kind of like 2 cards stapled together, right? The first example I saw of that was back in the day when they first printed Lodestone Golem, and I was like, oh yeah, that card's getting fucking restricted in Vintage, isn't it? Because at the time, it wasn't that long since people had like played like actual Juggernaut in Vintage, just as like a threat to play off workshops. And so they printed a Juggernaut with like an actual good prison effect stapled to it. And it's like, okay, yeah, all right. You wish this cube was a bit more powerful? Yeah. You wanna? What do you mean by that? You just want another powered cube? Or do you mean something more specific? I don't actually want to bounce Hedge Maze, as cool as it would be to rebuy them. Comes in a play trigger. You're so sick of Vintage Cube? Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. How to get flying? Probably something I'm missing. Oh, equip creatures you control at flying. Sure, sure. Oh, we can bounce Otawara to hand. That's sick. Do you think they just realized what I was doing? So I bring Otawara into play, and then I bounce it to hand with Moloku, and then I can discard it for 3 mana to bounce a token, and then I play it again, and then bounce it with Moloku. Bounce their other token. They just like don't have blockers. Yeah, it's kind of nice to have like gameplay actually matter every once in a while, instead of someone just getting like rolled. I think this Skull Crab is just not very good. I should probably just be pulling them. Seems like there's going to be enough Cankerbloom targets. Oh, right, and the fucking shit. That blue-green enchantment, the Sledge or whatever, I think that should be coming out too when I do that swap. Hmm. It's intuitive to bottom the Moloku because it's more expensive, but I think it's very good in my deck. Different cubes do indeed have different uses. I do wish bland vanilla paste wasn't the default that everybody wanted it all the time, because I do tire of it at times. Like, I'm gonna still get to eat lunch, you know, even if that's what everybody votes for. Like, I'm not gonna not eat the vanilla paste. I'm still hungry. But it is weird that that's all everybody wants every time. I don't think I'm even going to play this Champion of Wits now that we drew the Terrabotanist. But the Champion will be a good one to bin to the Math Song. Huh. When does the Caleb cube drop? I've like developed some cubes, but never to a point where I thought they were like worth crooning about. We built a mono black cube here on stream, but the actual act of testing it on stream was a bit onerous, so that project kind of died. It did not have Doomblade, no. I have drafted Seth Bling's Mario Cube. You wonder if it could be worth retesting the mono black cube with the all access pass going. Yeah, right. Yeah, somebody mentioned that actually when the charity event was running. The type 1 diabetes event, because that one gave out all access passes. I think the all access pass that was just up was only up for a couple of days. But that might have been something that I was supposed to jump on. It's a good idea for sure, Bugardo. And then whoever feels like buying a pass can help test. They screw up or something. Oh, they misstacked their stuff, so they're killing their gear thing. Fair enough. Alaskan 007 said that the new Predator was decent, a little bit cheesy, but entertaining. I think that's like a good space for Predator to be in. Prey, I don't think was very cheesy, but it still felt like a Predator movie. The vibes were there. There's something about like Predator and campiness that works a little bit better for me than like Alien and campiness. It's one of the big differences between the two vibes. These movies are about hunting people for sport. It's okay if you don't feel like thinking too hard. It's not that kind of movie. Did I watch the Alien series? I've seen most of them. Oh, the TV show. No, I have not. I've heard good things. It's pretty rare that I'm in the mood to watch a horror TV show. Usually when I'm watching TV, it's because I'm laying down to go to sleep at night, not trying to give myself the spooks. I don't ever think, yeah, Nightmare would be fun tonight. No, I mean, I don't really get those. It's like noteworthy if I have a dream, or if I remember one anyway. You're using Yellowstone for your night TV program. I really liked the Yellowstone spin-offs. The ones that like have the date or whatever, they're like Yellowstone prequels. And every time I've like tried to watch Yellowstone, I was just like, all right, this probably isn't for me. It's interesting though that the spin-offs would appeal to me so much. And the original show just kind of like splashes off me like water. Seal of cleansing, sure. Kind of looks like I'm gonna get out crabbed, huh? We playing some Blood on the Clocktower tonight? We are, JRC. When we get close to 7, I was thinking about taking a minute to explain the game rules so everyone's on the same page. Go over the characters real quick they're going to be using in the scenario. And then letting chat vote. We're actually going to add a character to our Blood on the Clocktower games tonight based on what chat wants to see. Brutal. I got a cryptic command there. You loved the last Clocktower stream? Nice. Yeah, I'm still sick. I'm still, like, under the weather, but less so. This is an interesting card if they're trying to mill me. Because it might shovel me back in later. If we can get a third food, somehow we can reanimate the Troll King. I don't think we can do that, though. Oh, yeah, we can. We can Flesh Crafter clone the Bristlebud if we get to untap with Bristlebud. It's not a legend or anything, right? That could be a sick-ass turn. What time is it for me currently? It is 4:50. I'm operating in Central Time. Oh, they know about the Canker Bloom. This is a very interesting play from them. It's going to take some getting used to, the new Magic Online UI changes. Grenier's Cube is pretty fun, but a smidge challenging if you're not well versed in Cube. Yeah, I think that's accurate, Sononoka. A lot of new cards to read if you're not like a big time EDH player or something. What's up, Sylvan Librarian? Opponent taking some real damage. I don't know if running this Titan out is better than playing a clone. Yay. Main deck Canker Bloom looking really good that game. I bet Perforos is really good in this cube. It seems like you have enough time for like a token strategy to just completely murder somebody with that card. Them taking a draw step there means they have a Wrath in their deck? Not necessarily. I think I'm gonna maul. Well, fuck. I think it's so slow, but it felt like I had time last time. Do I want to go to 5? So they had a like Cryptic Command, for example, to tap me down, tap me lower. Crazy combo outs, very few wraths. Right. Yeah, I didn't remember this cube being wrath heavy. Sure. The old turn 3 Hedron Crab, sure. Oh, they've exiled their draw engine hum. So whenever they play a land, they get a voyage counter on Cosima. And then at a certain point, they can put it back into play. And draw a card for each 1/1 counter on it. If we get a land here, I don't know if I'm going to go Ice Till Explorer into land drop or just play this Titan. Kind of doing similar things, but one of them attacks for 7. If I don't get a land here, that's another question. Probably like just serve sack food token. See what's handy. Cycling cast out, presumably to hit a land drop. So the deck works. Most of the sweepers kill a lot of small creatures. Right, yeah, we did see that Pyroclasm effect earlier. Should have put the Surveil land after the attack, because I'm definitely going to sack a food here. Some nice beats going down. I did almost nothing this game too, right? Like turn 3 crab, turn 4 5/5, turn 5. Jesus. Just a couple of 5/5s is good enough there, huh? One of 8 players in the queue. That might take a minute, even though it's 5 p.m. 5/5 is big. 5/5 is fucking huge. I think the opponent was stumbling on mana, and that really hindered them there. So there's probably some frustration to that concession. On top of us having 10 power of trampling nonsense going. Yeah, I'll give it. How long will I give it? We're at like 1 minute, and I'm still only one of 8. Opponent using swords on 2 shitters in a row. That's true. If they just like ignore the crab, they certainly would have had a lot more time, huh? If they swords the 5/5, then we play a value game. Sad how much less popular the other cubes are on Magic Online. Yeah. And everywhere. Like, people don't really want to, like, learn new things is part of the issue. They don't want to, like, spend their $10 and get dumpstered and then just be done. It's not, like, a fun experience. But that's also how you get better at learning new cubes, right? Like, that's a skill set in and of itself. Trying new things. Trying to figure out what the cube designers were supporting, what kind of play experience they were looking for. I think a lot of people would like a pick order, just like they would like to net deck for a constructed tournament or what have you. Just give themselves the best chance to win. And not necessarily the best chance to, like, progress as a player. You like the free tickets for cube events? I like those too, yeah. They didn't do that with this one, right? They only do that for the Vintage Cube season, get people hyped up. That's part of it too, is that, like, Vintage Cube, because they've been hammering it all the time, it's got this big brand behind it. Very hard for a cube that's only on Magic Online for like a week to pick up a following. Even if it seems like the sort of thing that people might be into. They're like, okay, so I drafted for a week and then it's gone and then I don't get to use that skill anymore. Whereas with limited seasons, you typically always have like 2 or 3 weeks at least before people start to get sick of it. You want to look over the cube list? We could. Usually like 5 minutes is about what I give, but we're like almost to enough players. Artifacts is Jess guy. Oh man, sweet, sweet Goblin Welder. Fucking love Goblin Welder. Looks like Graveyard is base Sultai. Hey, our draft started. I should have fucking popped the article up sooner, huh? Would have just like fired like that. Kind of in the mood to carry and feed or somebody. I feel like Hardened Scales is just a much more powerful card. They'd be sick together. Yeah, I'm gonna draft Hardened Scales. Nice little build around. This Iron Eater card's probably pretty good. Am I ready to synergize? Oh, I'm ready to harmonize, friend. Harmonize. So Steel Overseer is the most intuitive follow-up to Hardened Scales. If I'd taken the Carrion Feeder, I'd be on Priest here for sure. I don't know what this card does. 3 mana for a 2/2 Menace. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal damage to a player, get a food. Maybe sack a food, get a 1/1 counter on it. Leaves the battlefield and target opponent loses life equal to its power. Okay, so it's like part of the food synergy angle. Yeah, we're just gonna grab Steel Overseer. Potentially boring start here. Boring but fucked up, I like the Proliferate angle on Contagion Clasp. Could do something with the Hardened Scales for sure. Probably supposed to grab this Wormlet, because I'm going to be drafting artifacts for Steel Overseer, and then it's also a Hardened Scales card. What does Kellen do? Double strike other creatures you control, get +1/+0. Okay, sure, equipment thing. And Rayblade Trooper is another Scales card. I'd be adding a color, though, which I don't quite want to do yet. Phyrexian Scriptures is interesting. Brea's Apprentice. Now that's a card, I tell you, that's a card. Played this one in Legacy for a little bit. When it enters, get a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact, creature token with flying. You can tap it to sack an artifact, choose one, exile the top card of your library until your next turn you can play that card. So it's a sack outlet. Or like if something's dying anyway, you can just like churn through, convert those dying tokens into value. And then it can pump. The other option is to pump something for +2/+0. Multiple bodies, versatile ability. It's a good card. What do you do with it in Legacy? You just play it. Usually in Welder decks. Just like a value critter for Welder. So Gleeful Demolition sort of works, sort of doesn't. I mean, Crawler's good. Word of the Inner Sky is very good, but that'd be adding yet a third color. We'd go into Naya. Galvanic Blast. Maybe I'll take Misty Rainforest here. Food is very supported. I don't know if I want to mix that in because it doesn't necessarily work with scales. Grab this sprint card. This one's interesting if you've never seen it before. I only know about this card because I played with it in mono red cubes. 5 mana, Morbid. It costs 3 less to cast if a creature died this turn. Enchant creature. When it enters, untap each creature you control. If it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. And then enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has haste. Very easy to kill somebody with that card. Ooh, is this another copy of Hardened Scales, essentially? And it's its own payoff. 1/1 counter on target artifact or creature you control. Why is it called the Harmony Cube? Because names are hard, and they usually don't mean anything. I think I'm grabbing that there, Revoker. Yeah. Rabbit Battery got a lot more exciting now that we're in red. Got some nice activated abilities here, too. Give that Steel Overseer haste. Yeah. Got that Clasp wheeling. Yeah, seeing a Colossus Hammer as a drafter should let you know. It's like, okay, there's some cheat equips supported in this cube. That's part of learning a new cube, right? Is like seeing the signifiers to figure out what's supported, what's not. Magic Online makes it easy because they always put out an article where they go over the supported archetypes. And a lot of times, cube events that aren't being supported by Magic Online will still like link to the Cube Cobra, and the Cube Curator will like do a quick write up behind their thought process. This is what I'm going for, and that sort of thing. Hull Breach is pretty good in this cube. I'm still gonna grab this Steel Seeker card, I think. That card's sick. Is there a functional difference between reconfigure and equip? Yeah, reconfigure, you can remove a card. You can be like, I don't want this to be equipped anymore, and you pay the reconfigure cost. Whereas equip always has to be targeting a creature. Red Module, yeah, a lot of well-designed cubes will have multiple paths, right? So, and like cross synergies and stuff. Most players don't like being like fully on rails. I should restate. Many players don't like on rails drafting, where they think that there's just like one viable pick in a pack and one way to build and stuff. A good example of that is like tribal stuff. Like you'll draft a goblin because goblins are supported. Well, now all of your picks have to be the one goblin card in the pack, and you don't get to like feel clever by doing something new and or interesting. I think a lot of my more fun drafts have been monkeying with those, though. I think people get like uncreative when they see an archetype that they're aware of and they feel forced, but Arcbound Ravager, that's a fucking sick one. Anduril, I think, is above power level in this cube. And then there's Etch Champion, too. This is a sick pack for us. So, for example, in Carmen's 30th anniversary cube, Goblins was supported, but, like, I remember splashing for Cruel Ultimatum in Goblins, you know, like just doing whatever I wanted anyway. Yeah, I think Anduril is a power outlier. So even though Ravager plays very well with the Hardened Scales and the Ozolith, I might grab Anduril anyway. Seems very hard to answer in this cube. Or hard to beat anyway. But I do have Ozolith and Hardened Scales, right? Do I want to risk the Ravager not coming back? It's got to be my Ravager, right? It's got to be my Ravager. Bristlebud does spit out a couple artifacts for Ravager. I think about throwing a Firebolt in here just so I have any interaction at all. I think Junk Diver might be a little piddly for what I'm looking to do. Ooh, here we go. Pyrite Spellbomb and Biotech Specialist. Yeah, Biotech Specialist makes a lot of sense. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, it deals 2 damage to target opponent. So we're not just on Ravager for sacrificing. We also have Brea's Apprentice here. There's also, like, foods that you can sack. I think this is a good one. How does Wormlet read? Enters. Okay, cool. So the Specialist putting out a Lander token on turn 2 will still grow it. This is like the weird threaten. I think the Apple fits this deck better than this Crawler. Whenever you sacrifice a non-token permanent, exile the top card of your library. Kind of cool. This card's kind of fucked up. I actually got some wins in the Powered Cube, combining this with Goblin Bombardment. Feasting Troll King sort of works with Specialist. No KCI? No. No, that's why I drafted the other card. What am I doing with KCI? What am I casting with it? KCI is kind of a terrible sack outlet if you just want a sack outlet for funsies. And it's very good at ramping you. What am I doing with the mana is what you should be thinking about with that card. Like, you wouldn't put a Seething Song in this deck, right? Yeah, KCI plus Fireball was in that limited format. I did do that a few times. Yeah, I could see Etch Champion getting some wins. Load it up with some 1/1 counters, proliferate a bit. Not a good target for Grim Reaper's Sprint, though. I think this deck might end up being kind of fucked up for the power level of the cube. We'll see. We've got some solid green bodies that could just be totally fine here, but don't really fit the artifact plan. Is this cube nice? I'm enjoying it so far. Had some non-rounds in my first draft, but I'm enjoying the draft portion for sure. Interesting. So I'm looking at the cheap artifacts, because that's where my brain's going to go to when I'm doing what I'm doing over here. Witch's Oven, fun little sacrifice outlet. Could get you like multiple pings with a biotech specialist. Clockwork Percussionist is a pretty good just artifact to sacrifice. And some other random red deck might snag it from me. And then Sensei's Divining Top is kind of underrated in these sacrifice decks. I like being able to tap it and then sacrifice it with the activated ability on the stack. And just like cash it in for an actual card if you want. Hey, Sprinkles, thanks for the sub. Thanks for 12 months there, the full year. You like Oven with the Troll King? Sure. Yeah, I don't want the Troll King to guide my picks, really. There's a good chance it just doesn't even make the cut of the deck. Weaponize is interesting. Jugin's spreading out some 1/1 counters. Plays well with the Hardened Scales plan. Staying within green. And then Weaponize the Monsters is interesting. In fact, Weaponize the Monsters almost makes me want to play the Spiked Corridor. Hey, Welder, That's exciting. Might wield that Retriever, too. I think I'm feeling this Ginger Brute. You think Value Welder is some of my favorite welding. Huh. I don't think I want any of this. It's not a pack for me. We're doing pretty well on playables, so I'm not too worried. I might plan to play Gruul Turf, even though it's like kind of awkward with the curve. Card advantage is still card advantage. The blasting station is very good with Spiked Corridor. It's kind of medium with the rest of my deck. Ooh, Stomping Ground. There's also Karn's Bastion, Evolution Sage, Mask of Immolition. Hard for me to say no to a Mortar Pod. Yeah. Little Flare Husk action. Wonder if I have enough artifact creatures. What's the count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Grab a Terra Sunder for the sideboard. Yeah, I guess 8's enough. I would assume that's on the low end, though. A Crow and War might just be very good. Like, better than this apple. Patchwork Bestie does give me another cheap artifact critter. So I guess I'm going to grab it, but the Crow and War shouldn't be going that late in this cube, I don't think. Oh shit, what up? Hey, Drinker of Sorrow. Thanks to the Sob, the 110 months. Yeah, taking the Blasting Station and then Spiked Quarter and Weaponize would have been an interesting direction. I think I'm going to not play Weaponize. Even though it's like good with the Specialist. Sacking a creature to deal 4 damage is pretty real. I wish I had some more value in my mana base for the Steel Seeker to draw me into. Weird little tune. Could almost be a 15 land deck. We'll try this. One aspect of Powered Cube's popularity that I don't think... There's like a lot of good reasons that Powered Cube is popular, right? And like you get to play with these iconic cards like Black Lotus and stuff that you don't really get to touch in other formats. It's more accessible than something like playing actual Vintage, where you've got these very punishing matchups that you have to know what you really know what you're doing, how to sideboard, all that stuff. So accessibility is like a pretty big, you know, pro. But I think one of the reasons, and I think it's like a larger reason than people maybe want to admit, I think one of the reasons that the Powered Cube is so popular is because of that rush, that hit from opening a piece of power and getting to draft your Black Lotus or what have you. It's kind of scratch-offy, right? Part of what makes it addicting for some players, I'm sure. That dopamine, yeah. I think I'm just going to clasp that while it's convenient. You get your rush from drafting Pyroglyph. That's a slightly different rush, but also valid. Awkward that the Ozolith can't target Etch Champion. Hell yeah, Redcamp. I mean, in that case, getting to keep the Black Lotus is hard to argue with, right? Oh, no, you're talking about the one from Eternal Weekend. Sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, usually when there's a powered cube with like actual power in it, and there's like demand, I'll let other people do that. Because if you haven't had that experience, if you haven't gotten to crack a Lotus before in person, then that's going to be a different feel, you know, it's going to matter more. For me, it's fun to play with real power, sure, but I'd probably rather play with proxies. Possible I'm just supposed to Ozolith, activate Steel Overseer, make it a 3/3. Activate Ozolith on the germ, make that a 3/3. You got turn 2 comboed out of the tournament in 10 minutes. Ah, the Vintage Cube dream. That's why we do it. The player husk could go on the etch champion. Whenever you attack, you get a food token for each player being attacked. Tap X foods, get X11 human creature tokens. Sure. Do 0/0 germs trigger morbid? They certainly do. You're thinking about moving the husk over, then getting to play the sprint for 2 mana? Probably supposed to be some kind of lethal here. So I start with a champion and then post block. Sacked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That'd be 12, 17 damage. Not quite lethal. It also plays into Swords Plowshares. Remember, if the Ozolith isn't in play, then it's not going to give the last modular an extra counter. Cube for the Cube God. Hey, sup, Eric. Kind of need some water. Let me get some real quick here. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, my throat's feeling kind of fucky, so I made myself a nice hot cup of tea. Maybe that'll help a little bit. Grabbed myself some chips and beans and rice as a little snack. I'm a sick rip. You ever be sick for a couple weeks in a row and you just wish you were fucking better already? Did I pour anything into my tea? Nope, just a regular green tea. I drink black tea in the morning and green tea in the afternoon. How do we feel about Sir Ginger? I almost like it. A little bit, though. You're asthmatic and it takes 6 weeks for your lungs to return to normal? Jeebers. Hate that for you. Putting chonking on in here for free. And then if the Steel Seeker finds me a land, I'll be able to play the champion. If it doesn't, I'll be able to play the sprint. Yeah, the no response script is new. I guess I get more damage in if I serve first and then play in second main phase, huh? I was like, in my head, I was like, well, a creature died. I'm going to get my extra main phase. But the whole untap each creature you control thing's pretty important, huh? It just would have been another 2 damage. Is the Steel Seeker gonna finally start drawing me cards? Now that I don't need the land drops. Actually, I think I'm supposed to chill here. Because of the menace stuff. Tennis asks, do you like coffee? You better believe I like coffee. A lot of people think because I drink a lot of tea that I don't like coffee. Which I always thought was weird. Oh, you're a cat person, huh? You like cats? Why do you hate dogs so much? What? I like dogs fine. Ooh. Ravager could be exciting. Skiing, snowboarding. Yeah, yeah. I never took the time to get good at snowboarding, but I could have seen enjoying it. The reason I got the Ravager back as a sorcery is because I misremembered Jugan. I thought I was going to do the 2/1/1 counters immediately. If anyone was confused by that. Just me being a silly Billy over here. You think coffee is default in the U.S.? I bet coffee is getting crushed by soda in the U.S. That was a dope ass snack. Beans and rice with a lot of hot sauce and mango habanero salsa mixed in, and then some cheddar cheese melted into. Dip some fucking blue corn chips in that. Excellent. Well, that was a pretty good meat hook massacre. Not gonna lie. I don't like the no response button. Trying to get used to it. The issue here is that their creature has lifelink. Lifelink and menace, so I can't even block it. I think there's not enough value in flashing back Firebolt here. Doom. Sure. Yeah, clicking no response feels odd. Might just be a getting used to it thing. Flying if they play Catilda from the graveyard. Oh, yeah? Another thing they can do. That does seem pretty good. What's the no response button? It's just the new yes button, I guess. Maybe it's more precise. I don't know. So far, I don't like it, but we'll see. Terra Thunder looks great, huh? Now that we've seen a bit more of their deck. I think I'm going to cut Sprint, and I'm going to consider Feasting Troll King. Or Spiked Corridor Torture Pit. Let's just off it. I guess they didn't have time for game 3. It's a bummer. Hey, Free Palestine. Thanks for the sub. Oh shit, what up? Yeah, thanks for the kind words and sharing your Prime sub. Even if you're not watching that much Magic these days. You gonna stick around for the Blood on the Clocktower, Free Palestine? I was very skeptical of that game, but I've been having so much fun with it. You're part of the Blood on the Clocktower waiting room? Yeah. You here for the tunes and good vibes? Last week I didn't jam tunes so that I could have the VOD unmuted. In which case, fair. Looks like my opponent's on Bug Self-Mill over there. You here for the horsecock? Oh, yeah. We all know what you're here for. You don't need to... Bloss did nothing wrong. Said it's their favorite board game. Kickstarted it. Every chance they get to play it is a blast. Hell yeah. Oh, man. That's a lot of self-milling they're representing over there. What's Blood on the Clocktower? It's a social deduction game. There we go. We got a hit for once. It's a social deduction game, sort of similar to like Mafia or Werewolf or Secret Hitler, but one big change about it that I really enjoy. There's a focus on positivity, like Kill with grace, die with dignity, I think is the slogan. And when you die, you're still a part of the game. There's like some character mechanics that actually make you want to die. And then you can gain information and help your side win that way. Death mechanics. So that's one aspect that I really enjoy. I'm just going to edge champion, keep on. Oh, man. I want lands, but I also really want this Brea's Apprentice. I'm just going to leave it on top. Can he be resurrected? No. But, like, as a ghost, you can still talk and chat with the rest of the other town folk and stuff. And you still get something called a ghost vote. A lot of people save their ghost vote for the final day to help swing things for the townsfolk, the villagers. Who am I playing it with? There's a group of Twin City folk that turned me onto it at CubeCon. And then we also have... so, I'm sure some of y'all know who Ryan Overturf is, because you're a bunch of Cube fans. He played with us last week. I think he's going to be playing with us again. And then I believe Jorbs is playing with us this week. Not 100%. Is there role-playing? There's as much role-playing as you want to put into it. I would like to get to a point where I'm role-playing more. And it has a DM similar to D&D who helps balance the game. So if like Evil's really like crushing hard, he'll like kind of put his thumb on the scale to help out the townsfolk. And then that'll lead to a closer game, or vice versa, right? And that'll lead to a closer game. The goal is to have a game go long with interesting decisions and back and forth. Yep, it is certainly possible to solve with deduction and logic and stuff. Or variance. Game's got some fun variants. You've never heard of this logic thing? Yeah, it's not for everybody. Do you feel a pressure in social deduction games to not game it when playing amongst us friends? I felt the best games when we were playing suboptimally. Oh, I feel like with this one, it feels like sometimes like people just solve it by playing optimally and stuff. Something this group has been trying to impart on me. Is that if you're always playing straight, if you're always playing townsfolks entirely straightforward and stuff, which I usually do, but if you do that, it makes it actually much harder for you to win in your games when you're playing as evil. Although last week I did get a nice evil win that I was very happy about. I started off as the henchman, but my character ability was that if the demon died, then I became the demon. And they killed off the demon like almost immediately, and I just had to had to clench my balls and fucking hold on to my nuts. Hmm. But yeah, if you play as the good side with a little bit of evil in you, a little bit of subterfuge there, then it increases the chance you can win in your evil games. One of the aspects you noted watching us play was how short discussion and deduction phases were, so it added a big time constraint. Yeah, that's a balancing decision, Sastifer. So the idea is that if the townsfolk have uh, more time, if they have like all the time in the world to make their decisions, and just like completely share all their information, talk things out and stuff, then they'll be like very favored. So it gives evil more of a chance if you have shorter days. So I think the intention between behind the having like very short sessions was to help balance things on a fairly simple script and make sure the townsfolk didn't just run away with it every time. So the rough edges get smoothed out. Yeah, by the storyteller. And groups do get metas together, yeah. That was one of the reasons that this group was like really excited to play more online. They wanted to switch things up. Break out of their typical meta. Do we take turns running the story? There's two people in the group that have a lot of storytelling experience. At some point, I would like to learn how to storytell, but right now I'm still learning all the characters and stuff. You find storytelling incredibly stressful. Yeah, there's some mechanics to like incorporate screwing up as storyteller when you're like newer. There's something where like a newer storyteller or any storyteller can be like, I will make at least one mistake as storyteller in this game, and then at the end of the game, if they haven't made a mistake, they have to like work one in somehow. Hopefully, it doesn't break the game. What game are we talking about? Blood in the Clocktower. We're gonna be I'm gonna be streaming it here in about 40 minutes, something like that. You're a forever DM. Nice. What sort of mistakes are commonly made? You just like inadvertently say something that gives out info. One mistake that the storyteller made last week in one of the games was he said something along the lines of and then if you know that you're that you're dead, raise your hand. And he added, which he usually says, and this time he added, and I think we probably know this time. And that gave out information that that he wasn't trying to give out. But the group didn't catch it. Everybody but the player in question. I wonder if Weaponize the Monsters is better than Grim Reaper's Sprint. Grim Reaper's really good there, huh? Helped me like actually break through their wall of wall of blockers. Is it a pen or paper game or electronic? It's both. We're gonna be playing online. Wow. I guess. I fucking guess. You find the game easier to run online? Yeah. Nice that you don't have to cover like the physical tells if you're online of like walking around the room. Will someone be streaming it? I will be streaming it. Yeah. Basically a better version of Werewolf. That is how I would describe it, DJ Murder. Obviously, everyone has their own preferences. But I'm not very big on Werewolf at all, and I really like this game. What makes me like it more? I've played like Werewolf and Mafia games where so my biggest issue is if you die in the first round, you kind of just have to sit there and watch other people play. And this game doesn't have that. You get to keep on playing and being important and trying to solve and share information and help out your squad. And you even get a ghost vote that you can use to tip the scales on an important decision. And so far, my experience has been really positive. I've also had some bad experience with social deduction games, just playing with just like bad groups, which isn't really the problem of those games, but it feels like Blood on the Clocktower has positivity like written into the like one of the main rules is to like be good to each other and kill with grace, die with dignity, and that sort of deal. The goal is everybody has a good time. Have I tried only the base characters? Have I moved to the custom games? So far, um, it's been like mostly mixtures with the base characters. Today we're gonna be doing like a slightly modified version of Troubled Brewing. Nothing is verbal in person. Nothing at night is verbal in person. Oh yeah, you got that clarification. Yeah, yeah. The storyteller can of course take people aside to talk to them and stuff. Wow, this Avenger looks quite good here, What am I gonna do about all this? Fucking die, I guess. You just got done watching the my dispatch playthrough. Nice. Great watching game. Hell yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed streaming it. Do I even live through this attack? Yeah, take like 6, go down to 3. Could rip Arcbound Ravager for the win. How long till Blood on the Clocktower? We're planning on playing around 7. So around 6:40, I was planning on going over the rules and stuff. And the characters that we're going to be playing within our game. Catch everybody up if they haven't played it or watched it played before. Hey, Skoger, thanks for the sub. Thanks for the 30 months there. Appreciate it. How does it compare to Among Us? I never actually played Among Us, but it's not a... Oh, I've missed the Extractor Demon. Well, it's probably just going to kill me. It's like a solid 11 damage, huh? Yeah, I don't have anything that can block flying. That game felt like it was going okay until it wasn't, huh? Have I played games with Jorbs before? Oh yeah. We've teamed for a Magic tournament before. And as someone pointed out, he's guested on the stream before. I've guested on his stream before when he was playing Slay the Spire for a charity deal. I was not very useful in his Slay the Spiring, though. He was kind of just like blitzing while we chatted. Just like everything he was doing was just like a blur. This will be the first time playing a social deduction game with Jorbs. I know he's played a lot of Among Us, and that's why I thought of him. You struggle to see how someone could be useful to him playing Slay the Spire. Oh yeah. Unless it would be like some kind of stipulation, right? Like when I've had Ty on, the musician. He'd played Magic before, but it'd been like years and years and years. But we still like drafted a deck based around heavy metal. So you could Tempting Apple and steal the Avenger. Have a nice attack in. I think I just want to make this Wormlet very big. Casual 7/7. This thing's got flying, right? Am I winning? Oh, you better believe it, I'm lame. Blasting station. Interesting. This tempting apple just got a lot worse, Steel Sigurd drawing some cards. I was kind of surprised I didn't use Blasting Station in there at all. Could have killed this Remnant that I'm serving in with right now. It's a 7/7, and it would have been a 2/2, right? Or kill the Thopter token before I make it a 4/4, that sort of thing. I figured they'd use it on something. Do I remember the Carmen Sandiego TV show from the 90s? I do. Yeah, we watched that on PBS. We only got a few stations, so we had PBS and the local Fox station for the most part. They're a lot of fun old, vaguely educational shows on PBS. Y'all ever watch Ghost Rider? Or there was one, I don't remember the name of it. Where these people would like solve crimes through the power of math. And it was supposed to like teach kids that learning math was a really useful thing to do or something. Math crimes. You played the games on the old Apple II? We didn't have an Apple, but we did have the Carmen Sandiego game. Ran on Windows 3.1. Every crime is a math crime. When it comes right down to it, right? Oh, good luck looking, ride or die. Sorry, stuff's been stressful. I win. Yeah, so there's a bunch of different ways to win here. I think what I was gonna do is leave up the human monk token so I'd have 4 mana available. And then I could activate this to drain for 3 life. So they can't let 6 damage in, right? I assume they'd be blocking Sir Ginger or whatever. And then you sack Sir Ginger, and then you get to draw that the enchantment right off the top of your library. And then that would give you an extra attack. So now all of a sudden the Wormlet needs to be blocked twice. The 7/7 Remnant that just like don't even have a thing to answer probably just wins on its spot, huh? Just Apple plus that probably is already winning. But like 4 damage here plus another 6 damage is pretty good. Who's old enough to remember 321 Contact on the old PBS, the OG Bloodhound Gang? I am not familiar, LaBouge. The apple's been kind of medium. I thought the apple was going to be really good. Oh, I thought I was going to weld it ever. Weldy's mostly just died. But, I mean, that lets other stuff get through. I think his deck's very good. I'm going to take a quick water break here, I think. Go refresh my tea. We'll be back in a few minutes. Quick little pit stop. I just walked past my wife, and she was playing a warm-up game with a group that we're playing with tonight of Blood on the Clocktower. And so naturally I did like I was, like she had something real interesting on her screen. Now is probably a pretty good time to switch over, actually. Because I wanted to talk over the supplement we're doing. I think I need to do a quick restart to get tunes out of the VOD, so the VOD won't be muted. Wait, no. I could just stop playing tunes, and then only the later section of the VOD. Yeah, what am I thinking? It's the inverse. Cool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to briefly go over the rules for Blood. Oh, I should change the stream title and stuff. Should get on that. Blood on the Clocktower game category. While there is magic in Blood on the Clocktower, it is not Magic the Gathering. Yeah, streaming this last week was really fun, even though I was pretty sick. Good vibes, good friends, good kills. That's a good stream title. Magician script. You want to see Magician? You've already got ideas. All right, I'm gonna switch scenes just to give me a second. Pop up the old client. I'm just gonna pop back in here. I don't think I want to read all of this rules explanation. A lot of this is like set up for playing in person too, so it makes less sense when you're playing online. But basically, the way that the game works is the DM, the dungeon master, the storyteller, as he is as he or she are in Blood on the Clocktower. The storyteller sets up the game and kind of like builds the script. They give each player a token that represents their role, and now you are playing that role. If you're evil, obviously you're trying to kill off the good players until there's enough that evil can win. If you're the good players, you're trying to figure out who the evil players are and get rid of them, particularly the demon. If the good players kill the demon, they win. That's the main victory condition. Yeah. So night one, all the roles are given out. There's a lot of mechanics that happen during the night. Like, for example, the demon might be let know who their minions are, so they can like look around, and then they'll know who to talk to and strategize with and stuff as the game is going. They'll also be given some safe bluff tokens. Like here's 3 roles that are not in the game. So if the demon wants to pretend to be one of those roles, they can be convincing, and that gives them a chance, right? It gives them a fighting chance because the odds are stacked against them just based on sheer numbers, right? Every night, the humans can execute somebody. They don't have to. Very often they don't. But a lot of the times, the way that you get information is by killing people off. It's like kind of a... If you kill somebody and the game hasn't ended, you know that they're not the demon, right? So that's a bit of useful information right there. And then there's some character abilities that take advantage of that gain information from deaths and stuff. So it's usually good to just like always be killing. Depending on the game, of course. And then every night the demon gets to kill somebody. and thus whittle the townsfolk down. Pretty normal social deduction stuff. I think what's more useful than the just like blanket rules explanation, but if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them, is the character list. Which I think I saved. 1 second here. It default opened in Photoshop. Very annoying. I'll just look at it in Firefox. We can zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I'm just going to briefly go over the different roles that are going to be in this script. And we are going to end up voting on a role to add to the script. So the base game for newer players is Troubled Brewing. It's a little bit simpler. It can help people like learn the gist of the game without things getting too crazy. Still very fun. This is called Troubled Ogre because we threw Ogre into the script, and we're going to be adjusting it a little bit more later. But I figured we'd briefly go over this. If people aren't familiar with the roles, it'll make it easier to dive in. Washerwoman, as a townsfolk, starts knowing that one of two players is a particular townsfolk. So this is useful. The storyteller's like, one of those two people is, say, an investigator. Then, in the game, if one of them claims investigator, the washerwoman has like really good information that they're probably telling the truth, right? And they can use that to verify roles, help use a process of elimination to figure out who the baddies are. Librarian starts knowing that one of two players is a particular outsider or that there are 0 outsiders in play. Very similar to the washerwoman in terms of narrowing down roles. Some outsiders, so outsiders aren't minions, they're not evil. They're just townsfolk with dog shit abilities. So the librarian letting you know that there's like a drunk in the game could be really useful because drunks think that they're useful townsfolk and have good abilities, and they super do not. Their abilities do not work for them. And that can be a confusing thing to try and figure out on your own. The drunk is indeed a great role, yeah. Investigators, you still start knowing that one of two players is a particular minion. Chef, you start knowing how many pairs of evil players there are. So this is just if evil players are next to each other. We had a game where there were 3 evil players in a row, and the and the storyteller had to decide whether to give the answer of 1, 2, or 3 in terms of how many pairs of evil players. Or I'm sorry, it wasn't evil. There were like two evil players with like a recluse between them or something along those lines. So I gave them a lot of leeway on how to answer the chef question. Empath. Each night you learn how many of your 2 alive neighbors are evil. I got to bluff empath the other week, and that was really fun. I actually used used my fake empath ability to imply that we should execute my wife, and she was out of the room at the time. She was whispering with someone else, so she didn't hear my reasoning. And then she watched the VOD later that I uploaded to YouTube, and she was like, "Hey." Fortune teller. But yeah, it's a super useful ability. They like tell you that there's one evil person right next to you. You kill one person next to you, it still says 1. You're getting some useful information there. Fortune teller, each night choose. And to be clear, we're being sitting in a circle. So a lot of the abilities have to do with like who's next to you and rotations and stuff. Fortune teller, each night choose 2 players. You learn if either is a demon, and there's 1 good player that registers as a demon to you to kind of help balance out the ability. You can get a negative read, which happened to me the last time we played, but good still managed to win. Undertaker, each night you learn which character died by execution today. So this is a very powerful ability, because every night when you're killing somebody, you get to take that information and then like verify. So if somebody was claiming empath, you can be like, oh, I'm the Undertaker. I confirmed that they're empath. We can now trust their information. Because trustworthy information is way better than than worse information. Sometimes it even tells you, like, if they were a drunk or something, you know? Very powerful ability. The evil people are always trying to kill the Undertaker as quickly as possible. Monk, each night choose a player, not yourself. They're safe from the demon tonight. I kind of don't like the monk. Why would I want to protect someone else? Let's kill people. Ravenkeeper, if you die at night, you are awoken to choose a player. You learn their character. I really screwed this up the other week. I like forgot about the die at night part, and late in the game, I tried to like get the town to execute me, so I would be able to use my ability, and it did not work very well. I just died, and we gained nothing. That's one thing that I like about this game, though, is that you can do something like stupid and boneheaded, but then still feel like you contributed in other ways. Still get to play the game. Don't necessarily tank it, you know. You did the same thing. It seems like that's a common mistake. Because yeah. Virgin, the first time you are nominated, if the nominator is a townfolk, they are executed immediately. It's a fun one for villains to bluff. Slayer, once per game during the day. Publicly choose a player. If they are the demon, they die. This is a really fun one to roleplay. Because you're you're the Slayer. You have to act that out at a key moment. It can be a really exciting ability. You can use this like mid-vote that's going to execute you. You know, like, now is the time. And use your one silver bullet. When I got to play Slayer the other week, I used it to clear the Saint. Because there was somebody claiming Saint in our game. If you die by execution, your team loses. So it's not really something you can test. You kind of have to be pretty clear that they're not the Saint if you're firing off the execution on someone claiming Saint, right? So it's a useful ability to be able to fire on them and make sure that they're not the demon. Soldier, you are safe from the demon. I kind of don't like the soldier ability. All the ones that like prevent people from dying, I'm not a fan of. I like death. You gain information from death. Mayor, if only 3 players live and no execution occurs, your team wins. If you die at night, another player might die instead. Yeah, we had an interesting mayor game a few weeks ago where they were the drunk mayor, and we ended up losing because we went for the mayor victory, and super did not get to win. Drunk, I mentioned before, you do not know you are the drunk. You think you are a townsfolk, but you are not. So in that case, the storyteller has given you a token, and so you think you have that ability, and you're gonna like try and use it and be effective and stuff, and then it's like it's not a useful ability, and you're like the storyteller's giving you false information, and you just suck. And so like finding out that you're the drunk, figuring out that you're the drunk can be useful, because then you know that your information is useless. Recluse is an annoying one to have because you may register as evil, as a minion or demon, even if dead. So the other players might not trust you. Also an interesting one to bluff, because then that explains you registering as evil. Already went over the Saint. Ogre was one that we added to this, to Troubled Brewing. On your first night, you choose a player, not yourself. You become their alignment. You don't know which, even if drunk or poisoned. So you're basically choosing a ride or die. And you don't have to learn either whether they're good or evil. You don't have to ask them. You don't have to tell them. You can actually just like try to help them out over the course of the game and keep it to yourself if you want. Usually ogres come out though, especially if they think they're on the good side, because that helps people, that gives information, helps people whittle things down. Butler died for this. Yep. Butler did die for ogre. Poisoner, each night choose a player. They are poisoned tonight and tomorrow day. So poisoning works just like drunk. In this game, the abilities that they think that they have will not fucking work. I haven't gotten to play Poisoner. I've seen some very good Poisoner games. I think what was it? I think it was Saint. I think the Saint got poisoned. So, so everyone just got like fucking flipped out immediately. Like everybody was doubting if the Saint was actually the Saint. The Saint was thinking that they were the drunk. Like it just completely like threw the whole game out of into whack on day one. Kind of nuts. Each night you see the Grimoire spy. You might register as good and as a townfolk or outsider, even if dead. So the might means it's up to the storyteller. The storyteller has a lot of play in how to weight things towards good or evil, depending on who's winning. Somebody gets a ton of info, huh? The Scarlet Woman. If there are 5 or more players alive and the demon dies, you become the demon. Very fun. Baron. There are extra outsiders in play, +2 outsiders. Baron games can be pretty fun, too. I think with the number of players we have, I don't know the exact count, but I think we're going to be playing with 5 townsfolk, 2 outsiders, 1 minion, one demon. And the stock demon is Imp. Each night choose a player, they die. If you kill yourself this way, a minion becomes the Imp. So the reason that you would kill yourself is if you're under suspicion, and so you can kill yourself to seem less suspicious. And kind of like throw the baton to your minion to try to win the game. Yep, the drunk like thinks that they have one of these other abilities. They think that they're a useful townsfolk, and they just aren't. Their ability just doesn't work. So a drunk empath, like maybe the answer is 0, and they'll be getting another number that's not 0, right? Which can really throw a game off. All right. We should go over something that we wanted to do was have a vote on adding a character. The storytellers had the idea that we all could vote on characters that we thought were interesting and add it to the script that we're going to play tonight. Notably drunk can't be saint. I'm probably misremembering then. Yeah, bad example. All right. A few, these are the 4 that we picked out to potentially add to the script. We've got Shugenja, which is you choose clockwise or anti-clockwise, and they trust the peoples to the left or the right based on that. It's basically letting you know if the closest evil player is to your left or your right, and so you can like kind of get it clear in that way. However, if there's a tie, then you're just giving arbitrary information. So it's not super powerful, but it seems really cool being able to like clear some number of spaces in one direction. And then when you manage to kill a demon or a minion, or if you manage to kill a minion on your left, like does that now you can try and figure out how many spaces are free in the other direction, that sort of deal. I think it seems fun. Plus, it is the only character with the ruling anti-clockwise. Grandmother, you start knowing a good player in their character. If the demon kills them, you die too. So kind of a nerf for townsfolk, but kind of fun. You also like get some information, right? Like you know what character can be cleared. We got mutant. Mutant just can't tell that they're an outsider or that they're a mutant, or the storyteller will just kill them and then they're not in the game. I mean, they're still in the game, but they're dead. They're just a little bit less useful. So you can't convince people that you're the mutant at all. You have to like, which makes you look suspicious, right? Because you're on the good side, but you can't actually clear yourself. You have to actively dissuade people. No dashing. Each night choose a player, they die. Your 2 townsfolk neighbors are poisoned. So there's an alternate demon up for a vote as well. And then I have the poll ready to go. And whichever of those characters gets the most votes, we'll throw into the script. Missed the entire conversation. Vote mutant. Mutant could be fun. Are people getting votes in? Oh. Suppose that's show results button. Wow, a bunch of demon votes. Am I swapping out a roll 2 or just adding? I did not clarify with them. So we're probably just adding it to the script as an option. No idea. We'll let the storyteller choose. Who are we playing with? What do you mean? I went over the script. Are you asking what people we're playing with? I could get into the game. We can watch the tail end of the previous game, unless they're waiting for me. 1 second. Link is in threads. Join private game. Confirm. Looks like Mike is storytelling. Hello, hello. So we did a vote, and Nodashi appears to be the winner. And Mutant lost by a single vote. You should have voted. Every vote counts. You could add them both. How is the volume, viewers? How's the... It's good? Yeah, looks good. I think it was posted in the Discord as well, of course. Sure. I did the same thing. I dragged Imp over Jorbs, and I don't know how to remove it. Oh, interesting.